Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Penapple and today I am building a kind of beach house, I guess. It's interesting because it starts out in like the winter, and so you don't usually think of like wintry beach, but that's kind of where this went. Like originally you can see I'm building and I changed into live mode in The Sims, and it was winter and I had forgotten. Then I was like, oh my god, this is stunning. But yeah, if you're interested in this build, you can find it on the gallery. My origin ID is penappleYT. This build ended up having one bedroom and two bathrooms. I feel like it's kind of big, and so it's just really ridiculous that it only has one bedroom. And I was building this on stream, and I thought somebody asked me, how many rooms does it have? And so I was like, let me count. Let's see, it has 5 rooms. But they'd asked me how many bedrooms. And I was like, well, no, definitely not 5. Not even 2. So anyways, it's kind of like, I feel like it's sort of a very specific home. I think it'd be kind of cool if I had built this on a bigger lot, made it a bigger house, like a family home. I definitely think I need to do that. Comment down below if you'd like to see me do a family home. I feel like I haven't built one of those in like a hot second or 2 or a year. No, I'm sure I built more recently than a year, but not since this year. Anyways, I am in a very excited mood today because it's a snow day. I was in my bathrobe. It's like it was like, not right now, but I was all soft and comfy and warm till 9:30 on a Tuesday. It was amazing. It's so rare. Just because where I live, they're the kind of people where it's like, it snows 4 feet. Should we cancel class? I don't know. I think they could drive in. Oh yeah, let's keep the school open. We'll wait until it's like 8 feet, maybe. That's the kind of place where I live. So like whenever it snows at all, they're really well equipped to handle it. And so it only snowed an inch, but I have a snow day because I telecommute. I telecommute to most of my classes, and so if Seattle has a snow day, well, we have a snow day. Except for yesterday morning, we technically had a snow day, but the lecturer was lecturing from our school to Seattle, so me, my classmates in our little program had to all show up at 8:30 in the morning for a 2 to 3 hour lecture, and then a little bit of time after that. And Seattle didn't, and we were all really salty about that. But then we did get to go home for the afternoon, which was really nice. And then I woke up this morning and voila, snow day, which I'm so excited about. Oh my gosh, I feel like I could cop out snow forever, but I am going to talk about the build a little bit more. I've been trying to kind of balance that, definitely, because I definitely do want to tell my fun little stories. Obviously, that's what I ran with, but I do also kind of want to talk about the build. And so this was originally inspired by the kitchen that I'm doing right now. On Netflix, I saw an episode of The World's Most Extraordinary Interiors, I think that's what it's called. And there was one house that was honestly a mess. It was a lot of those houses on that show, I'm kind of like, this doesn't look good. This just looks like a lot. Like a lot. Which, so it was like this one house with tons of different styles, very fantasy-esque. I think a book author owned it. But I really liked the kitchen because it had this sort of like sunroom vibe to it. And of course it was ruined because I hung a whole bunch of junk from the ceiling and stuff. Like I think maybe papers. I don't know. It was messy. You could hardly even see out the window, roof thing. I'm like gesturing really weird. Sometimes I wish I had face cam on for this stuff because it gets wild in here. That sounded really bad. I'm wearing clothes, I promise. I'm not still in the bathrobe. Oh my God. But yeah, and so I saw that and I found a couple more pictures on Pinterest of that sort of sunroom kitchen. I just really fell in love with it, and I wanted to do that in a place that really had a nice view outside of the windows, and that's definitely Windenburg. I realized the other day that I've only built in Dale Valley, the world that we got in Get Famous, twice. I haven't even built in one of the neighborhoods. I was very underwhelmed by it, which makes me kind of sad because that's one of my most, like, my favorite things about new packs is the new worlds they bring. And I feel like I've loved every world. I've loved El Salvadorada, that what it's called? Oh my gosh. I think I messed that up. I love Windenburg. I'm not just going to list all the worlds. I think the only world that I like haven't hugely loved is Newcrest, but that's just because I kind of like having some existing structures, and I think maybe I'm just like a little bit salty that that's the only empty world. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I want more empty worlds, but I also want that world to have more stuff in it. I think I'm just like, it's just kind of one specific style there, so it's kind of hard to really fall in love with it for me personally. But yeah, so I feel like that world is a little underwhelming. But Windenburg, this isn't Windenburg, this is Brindleton Bay. Oh God. Oh God. Oh. You know, it's not like I've been playing The Sims for a really long time, and it's not like I am a game changer, not that that really matters, but you know, it's not like I care about this game and I have a YouTube channel about it and I only ever stream about The Sims, you know. Oh my God. Oh, this is a mess. I'm a mess, but that's okay. So that was like the main inspiration behind this house, and then it just sort of went from there. I definitely went with a blue color scheme. I had wanted to go with a different one on the exterior, and I feel like that would have influenced the interior a bit, but it ended up just not quite looking right. It looked like it would suit a modern home. Like there was definitely some more yellowy woods, which I do want to play with that color scheme at a later date, but this wasn't the house for it. So I ended up with good old blue. Good old blue and pale wood. But, you know, if it looks nice, why not? And I feel like the sort of decor of the place, I'm really proud of it. I feel like it's really creative. I feel like it's kind of fresh for me. You know, I feel like I've never quite made a house like this, so I was pretty excited about it. But if you can hear my voice sounds a little bit different today, I am getting over a cold, and of course whenever I go to record, I always sound like stuffier. Like I was totally fine 2 seconds ago, now I'm like, I think I'm a little nasally. I don't know. Why am I so stuffy now? So I am getting over a cold. I started getting sick on like, I think Tuesday of last week. I could kind of feel it. I was singing in the car, and I was like, something's different. I think I feel it coming on. And then, like, I had a super busy week, and it was just crazy. And I got progressively sicker. And so I ended up finally missing school on Friday afternoon. I held out pretty long. And then I spent the weekend being pretty sick, but I'm kind of getting over it now, which is good. My highlight story from that, because I always like to collect little stories to tell you guys. Even if you didn't want to hear it, you get to. I suppose you could just always turn off the video and unsubscribe, or you could subscribe. You got options. Just saying, you got options. But yeah, so it was just like an upper respiratory cold. I feel like I didn't really have a cough. It was mostly just a runny nose, some like really intense sinus pressure, just generally feeling ill and needing to sneeze all the time. And like whenever I would sneeze, it was almost like a blessing because it would like clear everything up. I could blow my nose. This is so gross. We all do it though. It's fine. You'll do fine. Just bear with me. The really fun part though is I went from sneezing a whole bunch to not being able to sneeze at all, and that's the most infuriating thing. I have an 80 to 90% success rate at stopping sneezes. I have a cool trick where I just place my finger and I press really hard against my philtrum, so that kind of area above your lip and right below your nose. And I press really hard and I can usually stop a sneeze unless it's a really big one, and then usually it's like where it would have been like huge. But can I force myself to sneeze? Absolutely not. The whole look at the light, look at the sun trick does not work on me. It's kind of awful. And so I needed to sneeze for hours and hours. And I sit down to eat and I'm like eating, I'm like mid-bite and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's coming. It's time. And I'm like, I have to sneeze now. I have to sneeze. I've been dying. I need to sneeze. Why now? Why when I have a mouthful of food? So I like grabbed a whole bunch of tissues and I just like covered the blast zone. And I'm like, okay, it's just gotta let whatever happens happen. And it wasn't that huge of a mess, but of course that's when I finally could sneeze. But yeah, so I feel like these stories I tell are just, they're weird every time, but oh well, you guys seem to find them interesting, and so that's really all that matters. Over here in this corner, I moved away from the corner. Why do I always do that? I combined some pieces of furniture near the entryway, and I really like how that turned out. We'll probably get back to it like in 5 minutes or right before the end of the build or something, and you will have forgotten that I told you about it, but that's okay. Let's see, what else can I talk about? Oh, I know. With the telecommuting, I have another really embarrassing story. It's even more embarrassing than the sneeze story I just told you. Okay, so like I said, we telecommute. My class does, and so whenever we need to answer a question, we unmute our classroom, because usually we're muted, so you can't hear any like munching or crunching that we do. You can't hear us, talking, which we also do, and we shouldn't. And so I was the one that day who was kind of pressing the unmute button, but whenever I would press it, it would make this really loud dial tone. It was so loud, and it was making like literally everyone in the classroom like jump, like, like when you see a whole room like jump, like, oh my God, what the heck was that? And like, it just, sometimes it happened, sometimes it didn't. It was really random, but the lecturer was asking like a series of questions, and so he'd have us answer, and then he'd have Seattle answer, and then he'd have us answer. And so I'm like frantically trying to keep up with this button. It's making all these terrible noises. I'm stressed out because I want to answer some of the questions, but I don't want to look dumb. I'm like stressed out because like I want other people to answer and just all this stuff. And so finally the professor asked the question. I hit that unmute button. It makes the noise, and I go, I just don't know, okay? Because I didn't know why it was making that noise. But from the Seattle side, it just looked like he'd asked me a question, and then I just said, I just don't know, okay? It was so bad. It was so bad. But luckily the professor was a little hard of hearing, so I don't think he actually heard that. I mean, the rest of the students over in Seattle heard it, and so, that's amazing. But I feel like all of us have, like almost all of us in my small program have had a moment where we've embarrassed ourselves over the telecommuting thing. Just because, like, the other one I can think of was I was, again, I was like managing the mute button basically, and I was waiting for our professor to respond to a question that the professor in Seattle had asked. And so like I wasn't quite sure if he was going to respond. She asked a question, and so I preemptively unmuted so he could say something, but he didn't have anything to say, and instead one of my classmates said, "Are we done yet?" And then the professor in Seattle was like, "No." It was so bad. It's all like, oh my gosh. Another time somebody unmuted, and like I was trying to pass like a phone charger, and it was just a really bad way of passing it. And so one of my classmates went, "Geez." And that time only the professor heard it because it was like a weird day, but there's just, it's just a mess, and that's my everyday life, is that mess. That was really exhausting. I think maybe I'm still sick, because when I'm sick, I tend to like do things that shouldn't wind me, but then they end up doing, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm dying. But speaking of being winded, I actually hit my 1 year jogging anniversary. I am so excited. I've been jogging for over a year now, pretty consistently, like 1 to 3 times a week, kind of sort of depending on the week. I've had some weeks where I've jogged or months like where I've jogged like 3 days a week. Yes. Okay. I thought I said 3 times a day for a second. I was like, hell no. Like consistently for a month. And so that's been really exciting. And I've seen a really big increase in my progress. I went from running less than a mile, jogging. I really don't run. From jogging less than a mile and just feeling really accomplished and proud of myself, which is good. But now on the 1 year anniversary of my run, which I knew it was that exact day because I had tweeted about the very first run, I kind of prepped myself. I was jogging 3 miles for like a week, like 3 miles 3 times a week, which is a lot. So I was doing that, and then my goal was to get 4 miles in one sitting. It's not really a sitting, but one session. I wanted to really do that on my anniversary, and so I didn't quite make it. I got to 3.75 miles, which is really awesome. I might have gone for it, which wouldn't have been a good idea, but I was at the gym on the treadmill and it cut me off at an hour, and I was like really annoyed. I was like, this is like so annoying. I just want to run. And I was like, you know what? This is probably good. Here's the furniture that I finally combined. This is almost 5 minutes later. Oh my gosh, I told you. But yeah, I liked how this turned out. I thought it was a really fun like combination of furniture, and I think it worked out. I think it new way to use that creatively. I'm sure somebody else has used it this way before, but I haven't seen it. But yeah, so it's probably a good thing that I didn't jog for more than an hour. A lot of my like classmates and friends asked, how do you stay on the treadmill for that long? I alternate between music and watching Netflix. And so that usually works for me. I also don't jog the entire time. I'll break it up with walking, especially with heavy uphill walking in between. But I do keep like a relatively steady pace, like I'm able to get about 3 miles in about 45 to 50 minutes. I don't know why I thought I was then going to be able to get 4 miles in 60 minutes. But, I tend to set unrealistic goals for myself, but it was good. And I don't know, I forget how much I weigh. Definitely, I think last time, oh gosh, I don't remember, but I definitely weigh over, I think 240 pounds. I am a very heavy woman. And I am just really proud of myself for, despite that, or not even just, but actually this sounds really weird. Okay. I am just proud of myself for running, even though I'm not the kind of person you think of when they say, oh yeah, I kind of run about like 6 to 9 miles a week, or jog. Excuse me. And so I'm just really proud of myself for kind of making that sort of commitment to exercise, even though I haven't, I'm not doing it really to lose weight. I'm just doing it to be healthy, to increase my heart fitness, because that's really important. Don't want congestive heart failure or something when I'm older, that sort of thing, and so I'm just really proud of myself. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. Jog stories and yoga stories abound up in this channel. I haven't done yoga in a really long time. I just don't have time, and it's kind of like I really only have time to exercise 3 times a week, and so it's like It's easiest for me to just hop on the treadmill and go. I kind of want to incorporate more weightlifting just because osteoporosis runs in my family and I'm going to have brittle bones by the time I'm like 40. I'm over halfway there to 40. So, so, I should probably do some weightlifting, but oh well, it's more fun to jog. Okay. We actually managed to talk about everything that I meant to get to. The one story that I missed, and I feel like we don't really have time to do it justice, and maybe I'll remember to do it. I forgot about the moon. And I think that's all I'm going to say, just because that'll be a fun lead-in. I forgot about the moon. Comment down below if you'd like to hear how I, 25-year-old woman of science, I guess, forgot about the moon. That sounds a lot worse than it actually is. I will say that. I'm a very dramatic person, and that's my clickbait story for next time. I forgot about the moon. But yeah, so I don't know when my next build is going to be up. It's going to be a huge one. I'm working on a 64 by 64 lot. I am doing terrain tools up the wazoo. It's got like multiple buildings on it. It's going to be crazy, but we don't know when it's going to happen. So, but anyways, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this build. If you did, feel free to give me a like, a comment, or subscribe, just so that you are notified when my next build goes up, because I don't know what's going up, so you don't know, and so it's good to get a notification. I guess you could also click that bell. I still don't really know what that means. It's been a while, and I still don't know. I also haven't clicked anyone else's bell, so I'm kind of bad. I'm kind of bad at being a YouTuber and a streamer. I never know what's going on. Or even a game changer. I still don't know what's going on half the time. But yeah, I hope you guys are all having a really great week. I hope that the weather is treating you well. I hope that you're staying warm and dry inside, but also getting to enjoy whatever nature has brought to your doorstep. This is weird. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.